Hi friends, Tiffany here. Welcome to my quilting life. So it's that time of the month again. That's right. We are going to be working on our 4-Star Generals Revisited quilt along. So this is the 4-Star Generals Revisited pattern by Yellow Creek Quilt Designs for Kindred Spirits. That always takes my breath away saying that. But this was a sew along that I joined my friend T over at T Quilts. You'll find a link up here. Where we were doing a sew along month to month. There is no patterns available. Obviously you'll have to go find this online, but I have all these videos still here for you to follow along. This is month 11 of this pattern. Look at that, it's a beauty. And I'm gonna show you how to put month 11's block together. So stick with me till the very end and you'll see my finished block, and I hope you get yours done too. Bye for now. All right, so we need our blocks ready for month 11. We need our light fabric, all the cuts from that, and there's 3 different cuts. We need our main fabric. There's only one cut, well, 2 pieces of the same cut from the main fabric. Then we have our accent 1, and there's 2 different size cuts there, and our accent 2, which has 2 different size cuts as well. So now we need to determine what goes where, and I'll show you how. This is the block we are making. It is a King's Crown block. B is for background, or black in my case. That is where I am using my black color. This is the King's Crown block. So we're going to take our light fabric squares and our accent 1 of the bigger squares, and we're going to be sewing half square triangles out of these, but I'm going to just do every single pile. So right now I'm going to make my piles so that way I know what goes where when I put everything back in its place. So that's my accent 1 and 2, that's my main, and these are my 3 different sizes here. So I'm just going to grab these 2, make sure that they go in pile number 2. Those were pile number 1. Let's try to keep this nicely so that I could remember. That goes there, those go there. That is my main. And these are my lights, which I'm using black. So again, I just need these 2. And then my 4th pile. Let's see, right here, there, that, this, that. Put those there and grab these 2. And I have them down here at the bottom corner of the screen, and we're going to take these over to the sewing machine. And it says in the pattern to draw a diagonal line from one side to the other, but I use seam tape, so we're just going to do it that way. But don't forget to draw your line from corner to corner. Here we are at the sewing machine. Now once you've drawn your line from corner to corner, we're going to be matching 1 with each of these, and we're going to be sewing on a 1/4 inch on each side of the drawn line. So we're going to go ahead and go a 1/4 inch on each side of our drawn line. That means on my seam tape I'm actually lining it up with the 1/4 inch line, not my red line. So I'm lining it up on a black line, not a red, and I'm lining that corner up on it and stitching from one side to the other, and then I'm going to come back and do the other side of that invisible drawn line that I don't have. So I'm going to go ahead and put you in fast forward while I stitch up all of these from one side, and then spin it around. When I get the one side of all of these done, I'm going to spin it around and do the opposite side. So I'm going to make all 4 blocks pieces at the same exact time. So once these are sewn, we're going to just move this little pile out of the way. Set those back a little. All this can go back just a little. It says we need to trim apart, which is kind of obvious. We were making 2 at a time half square triangles. It says to split apart now on your drawn line, which I didn't draw a line, but I just lined the ruler up from corner to corner. Split them apart, and then we are going to be trimming them to the size it says in the pattern. So I'm going to just go like this, trim them apart from corner to corner. And after they are trimmed apart, I'm going to line up my ruler on the desired size that these need to be trimmed down to. Might as well just line the ruler up on the side that I need it to be. So I'm just going to line up my ruler. I'm lining up the size I need on my stitch line on the corners of the size I need this to be. And I'm going to go ahead and trim away the excess, and then we're going to be taking this over to the iron and pressing it towards our accent color, just like this. So they are kind of small, a little bit of waste going on here, which has been pretty much a thing throughout this whole entire project, but that is okay. So I'm going to spare you my trimming of all this, and I'm just going to put you in fast forward while I trim all the piles. So I'm just going to line it up and trim every single one of them at the size it says to. You can press your blocks first and then trim them using a square ruler, or you can use a block lock ruler or a triangle ruler of some sort. Whatever you have, however you trim to your proper size, go ahead and do that while we are in fast forward. Okay, now they're put back into their piles that they go in. Now it is time to make a couple little blocks that go together. So what we're going to do from each of these piles is we're going to grab our little accent one, and we're going to grab our background, and then we're going to grab these little half square triangles that we just made, and we're going to make a block. So we're going to put that one there and that one there, and then we're going to put accent facing in and accent facing in, and I might as well turn it like this, just like that. So we're going to make 4 of these. So we're just going to stack them up like this, like that. All 4 of these can go here, all 4 of these can go here, and I'm just going to stack them all up and then take them to the machine and show you how to sew them. But before I do that, I'm actually going to stack all of them. So I want this here and that there, accent one and background like that. We're just going to make 2 stacks of 4 here, because you should have 8 of these little half square triangles, and that's going to go in like that. And then these guys, stack them mostly nicely and put them like that. Over, we're going to grab this, that's going to go there, pile number 2. We're going to go up here to pile number 3. Again, same layout, just going to stack 4 of these facing the same way so that I don't get anything mixed up. So those will go in like that, and these will go in like this. Here's my pile number 3, and let's make pile number 4. We just need 4 that way, and 4, and these 4 are all facing the correct direction here. So we're going to go to the machine now, and we're going to sew this to that and this to that. Alright, here we are at the machine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put these piles aside like this. I'm keeping them all in their piles, and I'm going to just run them through in sets like this. So I'm going to put the top 2 together, slide them through with a 1/4 inch seam. I am using my seam guide, and then I'm going to take the bottom 2 and throw them under like this. So I'm going to keep them in their sets of 2. So again, I'm going to put the top 2 like this, right sides together, and I'm going to run them through, take the bottom 2, right sides together, run them through, just so that everything stays in order. You can see it's still in order. So the black is touching the color on this one. We're going to run it through. And then the color is touching the color on this one, like that. I'm going to run it through. Again, and this is the block right here that we're making, these little blocks. So I'm just running them through, and I'm keeping them on the machine, just like this. And I'm going to continue on with all of these stacks until they're all sewn through, and then I'll come back and tell you what to do next. Okay, once you have these all sewn, what we're going to do is separate them in piles of 2, because we put the top and the bottom of those sections. So there's 2, they go together, 2, they go together, 2 go together, over and over. So all that is one of the colors. There's a set right there. There's a set right there. And for more sets of 2, here we are. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stay right here and finger press. If you don't want to finger press, you can go over to the iron at this point, but I'm just going to finger press because it's a half square triangle going to a regular flat block. So what we're going to do is we're going to press the top one to the right and the bottom one to the left. So away from the half square triangle. That's going to allow it to lay nice and flat. I mean, it's not much, they're small blocks, so it's not very hard to press them over by finger. And you can see just the finger press right there has them one seam going one way, one going the other. And all I'm going to do now is keep them lined up and send these through with a 1/4 inch seam. So again, I'm just going to finger press towards my black, finger press towards my big accent, put them right sides together, nest those 2 seams. You can literally feel them lock when you move your fingers on them. Line it up and send it through. The block is small enough to where you really don't need any pins to do this part. So I'm going to go ahead and run all of these through, and then when I'm done, I will open them and press them. Alright, back to the piles that they go in. Time for the next step. We are going to make some 1/4 square triangles now. So let's get to that. So we're going to take our big piece of the last of the light, or in my case black, of the background. And we're going to take accent number 2, the big squares that match inside, and we're going to take those over to the sewing machine. So I'm going to do that from every single pile. Just going to go ahead and take these from every pile. And we're going to go over to the sewing machine. At this point, you can draw a line on the back side from corner to corner, or you can use the seam tape like I will be using. Okay, here we are at the machine. I have all of my pieces that I need up here with me. We're gonna take our accent number 2, and you're gonna have a drawn line from corner to corner. We're gonna match that with one background, right sides together, and you're gonna sew a 1/4 inch seam on both sides of your drawn line. So let's go ahead and sew a 1/4 inch. I'm lining the end up with the black line, not the red, which is my 1/4 line of my seam tape, and sewing them through just like this. Just gonna line them up, and I'm sewing on one side for now. I'm gonna pop all of these through and then come back and do the other side. So I'm going to do all that and put you in fast forward. Here is where the next part, if you're not paying attention, gets a little confusing. So we're going to go ahead and trim these apart from corner to corner or on your drawn line. So these two came from the same stack, and it says to press towards the accent number 2. So we're just going to press towards the accent number 2. Just like this. I'm going to just set those aside because I'm going to take them to the iron in a second and press them. But for now, I'm just making sure that they're ready for the next step, which is the confusing part. So let me finish these up and I'll be right back. Alright, remember how I said this was going to get confusing? What we're going to do is we're going to take these and we are going to face them. Now remember, you are facing my cutting mat as if you're facing your own cutting mat. So that makes it a little bit easier for this part. We're going to take these right now and we're going to lay them just like this. So down to the bottom right, you should have your accent piece. Okay, so accents number 2 should be down to the right. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead, and this is the confusing part. So once it's laying like this with the accent color facing you and your background facing away from you to the top left, accent bottom right, we're going to line the ruler up corner to corner and we're going to cut it. So what you are going to be doing, this is the part that gets confusing, is you're going to take this top half because that's what you're going to use. This bottom half we're going to discard. So again, we're going to repeat that. Hopefully you're not getting lost here. We're going to cut from corner to corner because my accent's facing down at me, down to the bottom right, corner to corner. We're going to keep the top half, discard the bottom half. Grab the next one. Again, my accent 2 is facing down towards me, bottom right, background is up to the top left. We're going to cut it from corner to corner, save the top piece, discard the bottom. One more time, corner to corner right here. So if you are facing your own area, you're going from top left, bottom right. Slice it, keep the top piece, discard the bottom piece. We're going to repeat that with every single one of these now. Alright, now that we are done with that step, we're going to go ahead and take our main color and we're going to pull that from every pile. There should be 2. And we're just going to go ahead and cut those from corner to corner, just like this. So go from this corner to that corner, and now you have your corner to corner. Do that with every single piece. You can do them one at a time or you can just stack them. There are 2. Just stack them. Make sure that they're nicely lined up so you're cutting from corner to corner properly on both pieces. One last one. Just like that. And now we're just going to take those very pieces, so you can see all of our stacks are nicely together, just like that. We're going to take, leaving this here, so on and so forth through the whole thing. I'm going to take all of the main fabric triangles that we just cut right now, and the ones that were half square triangles that we cut before that. We're going to pair them up. So we're going to just take the ones we cut and the quarter square triangles, and we're going to take all these sets over to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew them together, and I'll show you how at the machine. So I'm going to put my seam guide back in place for a 1/4 inch seam. I like the guide because it keeps me sewing correctly. So we're going to take these pieces now. You should have 4 half triangles here, and you should have 4 half triangles here. We're going to pair these up now, just like this. One of these with each of these, and we're going to go ahead and sew all of these through. So I'm just going to put it right sides together. We're going to be trimming it, so it doesn't matter if you line it up at the edge or you line it up halfway off the edge. It really doesn't matter at this point. There's no need to center it because we're trimming them down anyway. So we're going to go ahead and a 1/4 inch seam, just like that, right sides together. So a 1/4 inch seam, right sides together, and you get the point here. So I'm going to go ahead and put you in fast forward while I sew all 4 of my piles together. For the next step, you could take these over to the sewing or to the pressing sorry, my brain isn't working, to the ironing board, and press them back towards your main fabric and then square up after. But since I like to square up while they're in the position that they're in, I'm going to go ahead and square up now. So I'm just going to move all of my pieces out of the way. I'm going to square them up to the size the pattern says, and then we'll get to the next step. Now I'm just going to go ahead and trim away all the dog ears on all of these and then put them back in the piles that they go in. All right, now that those are together, it is time to lay out the blocks. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our accent number 1, the leftover piece, right here, and we're gonna go around that with these quarter square triangles that we just made. So we're gonna put it with our main fabric facing in. Main fabric facing in, creating a pinwheel all the way around. And then we're going to take these guys and we're going to put the background fabric, or in my case black, facing out toward the corner, just like this. So that is our block. So I'm going to scoot this aside. Let's lay out another one. We're going to put this right here. So again, you're facing this block as I am. We're going to put this one in. Oops, this way. This way. And that way. So we've created a pinwheel first, and then our black background, or any background, whatever color you're using, faces out towards the 4 corners, just like that. And just remember, your background also is out as well. So it's kind of hard to mess these up, see, because the background is facing outwards. So no matter which way you put it, as long as your background is on the outside, that's how it goes. So I'm going to go ahead and scoot this one over there, bring this one down. We're going to do that same thing. So see, you can't do this because this is a whole different block. See, there's no way that creates a whole different block, although it would be a cool block. Let's see. Let's see how cool this block would be. It looks cool, but not what we want. So again, background outway right here, and or we're creating a pinwheel in the center right here. So it's like a double pinwheel. All right, here's the last block. Again, let's move that out of the way more. This is always touching, just like that, making sure the backgrounds are on the outside. Background squares are on the outside here as well. And that is our block. So let's go ahead and take this to the machine. I am just going to chain piece all 4 blocks together at the same exact time. So I'm going to run this one through, then I'm going to run this one through. I'm going to get them close to me so that I can reach over and grab. Let's put this one first up here. And then this one last, right here. And what I'm going to do, now that you can see that they're all 4 right here, is I'm going to grab these, those, these, then that, this, and that. Then I'm going to grab this, this, and that, this, and that. And those are going to go right sides together, and then all I'll have to do is break it all apart. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 to add them all instead of stacking them all up. Just watch how this goes. So now that I have done all this, they are now in sets of 3. So I can finger press this away from, that's what I did with these bottom ones, is they're going out, the center is going in, and the top is going out. Now there's the 3 for 1 block. So I'm just gonna snip those away, set them aside. There's 1 block. It's still together, it's still in order, nothing is out of place. Again, I'm gonna finger press away from, towards the middle, and away from. Same as I did on the other side. Snip them apart, and here is a second block. Nothing is out of order, it's hooked. We cannot flip or move anything at this point. One more time, right here, out, in, or right, left, right. Snip apart, and just lay it down right here. And then the last one, which I'm going to keep up here with me. So I'm just going to go to the left, or to the right, to the left, and to the right. Just like that. It's hooked. So I'm just going to take this bottom one, and my center seams are now nested. There's no other seams to match. I'm just going to slide this through, do one side, flip it to the other, do the other side. So I'm just nesting my seams and sewing it. Just like this. I'm going to open that up and just press towards the middle for now. And then I'm going to take the bottom piece and put that right sides together and sew that side. And I'm going to repeat that with every single block. Now that they are pressed, the last step is to add the sashing. So we're just going to take our sashing pieces, lay the block out the way we want it to be laid out, and I'm just doing opposites. As you can see, I want the opposite colors in the opposite corners. We're just going to place a sashing strip here and here, and then one in the middle. So I'm just going to spare you that and put this in fast forward while I finish it.